Hello, everybody. Welcome to the 5 Minutes PM podcast. Today, I'd like to talk a little bit about the PMBOK process flow. The PMBOK process flow has been released today and it's available in my website for download for those who are interested in the field. The PMBOK guide, it's like the Bible of project management. 3 million copies and published among the 100 bestsellers at Amazon.com. So it's a must-read literature for those who work in the project management field. And the process flow is a way that I use it to understand more. As you may notice, those who try to read the PMBOK like a book, we struggle to understand because it's much more a standard approach than a book approach. And so it's very hard for those who are starting and trying to understand how everything gets put together. And I had the same problem in 1998 when I was starting studying for my PMP exam. And at that time, I was trying to understand, and it's very, very hard to understand and to read integration and then scope and then time. And I say, no, in the project, we do not do it like that. We do not do all integration to do the scope. We do everything together. So I published it in 2002, and this article is available in my website. And it was a very interesting paper that was published at that time called The New Approach to the PMBOK Guide. It's a new approach. It's a new way of looking and reading the PMBOK Guide. And this is a process-based. And this is the key aspect of chapter 3 of the new PMBOK. And what I did at that time, trying to study and understand more the process, I started using post-it notes and trying to write the process and put this like a map in the wall and trying to make the connections and try to understand where I produce a document and who receives this document and trying to do that. So now I'm trying to offer this again to the community. It's trying to do this for the PMBOK 4th edition. For the PMBOK, for the last edition, I did the same and I was quite successful. A lot of people used that to improve project management. And I asked PMI authorization to do that. And then I have this authorization, this formal authorization. And this, there is no intention on this to replace the PMBOK guide. It's only to help people to read the guide. So the best way of doing that is to have the process flow in one hand and have the PMBOK guide in the other one to understand what is behind the lines that I'm putting. So in each process here, I'm putting available 4 models of the process flow, 2 in English and 2 in Brazilian Portuguese. Those in English, black and white and color. In Portuguese, black and white and color. And why black and white? Because I don't know if the people will have resources to print it in color. So to help these people, we have also the option in grayscale. So it's only print in grayscale and try to use it in the same way. And the color I put for each knowledge area. And then what I did, I tried to build the most important connections based on chapter 3. It's very important. I'm not using and putting all connections. All connections are related in the process data flow. Now in the PMBOK Guide 4th edition, each of the 42 processes are described in a data flow diagram. So this is not the intent. The intent is to show everybody the whole picture. The whole picture, the whole 42 process, and help people to understand. The PMBOK Guide is far one of the most relevant literature for project management. So we need to be aware that understanding this will be a key element to make our project successful. And another thing that I'd like to make everybody aware is that I put the integration process like the central process, because integration, it's like an umbrella that covers all the other 8 areas. So I highlighted integration and then I put a big box for all other areas and I tried to make the connections. So this is to make it easier for everybody to read that. So it's very good if you print out and trying to understand how one output related to another input, where do you use each kind of tools and techniques. This will help you to understand and read in a much better way than reading the PMBOK page by page. And this is not something that PMI did wrong. No, it's perfect as a standard and a guide for future check and consultation for people to check the PMBOK guide if they need when they are working on project. But it's not the best way to teach project management. So for those who are starting in your company, if you need to show the big picture of project management using the PMBOK guide, it's very useful to have this process flow. So it's only to help everybody to leverage project management in your organization. And second, to leverage project management in your government and your agency, and also in your personal life. So it's to help people starting in the field, those who are studying for the CAPM, those who are studying for the PMP exam, they can use this as a useful tool to understand the big picture of the PMBOK guide. And this, I'm trying to share what happened to me 11 years ago. So I'm trying to do a different perspective of all the process flows. So if you understand, how do I start a project? How do I plan a project? How do I execute? How do I monitor and control? And how do I close a project? It will be much easier to understand what is behind this extremely useful and popular guide, the PMBOK guide. I hope you enjoyed this podcast. Have fun. If you want to check the pictures, they are also available in my Flick album. All the pictures that I took producing this map, and also the video explaining how do I build this. So if you want to check, I'll be very glad to show you. Thank you very much, and see you next week with another 5 Minutes PM podcast. Bye.